Welcome back to Grand Slam Sports. My name is Jay Taja. Over there at the analysis desk is Nate Long, Charles Foster, and Jackson Strasburger. As we look into last night's draft recap, we'll talk some winners and some losers from what we saw last night, guys.
Last night was a very fun night. We spent 4.5 hours covering the draft last night, and there was definitely some winners, some losers as well. We're going to kind of go over that, and we're going to actually start off with my winner, and that was the Atlanta Falcons. I was a massive fan of where the Atlanta Falcons went with that, and I just think that it was one of those picks with them going Jalen Walker and then them moving up for James Pierce that I think that they really fixed a lot of their needs last night. They went from one of the worst pass rushers to getting two borderline elite pass rushers on both sides of the ball.
And then, so I'm going to go to my winner right now. I picked the Browns as the winner. They made a great trade. They didn't really need Travis Hunter. They're not in a win-now situation where Travis Hunter would have changed their season. Instead, they move down, they get Mason Graham, they start beefing up that defensive line and preparing for the future. They have more picks up and coming. I feel like this is a great trade for them, and I feel like it helps them more in the future and really help move on.
See, for me, I thought the Denver Broncos did a great job with their pick. I mean, they had one pick, obviously, in the first round, but they picked Jahdae Barron to pair with Pat Surtain. I mentioned it last night. I love this pick. He's a great corner to pair along with Surtain and with Riley Moss, and I think this suits the Broncos' defense the best.
And then for my draft day winner, I picked a team that made a big move. Went up from number 5 to number 2, the Jags. Going up for Travis Hunter, a guy who's going to be a day one impact on that team. As when you look at what Travis Hunter can do offensively, defensively, catching the ball, making interceptions, I think that was the biggest winner of the draft in Jacksonville, the Jaguars.
I mean, and yeah, that's fair. Now it draws the question with the Jaguars of, they gave up a first-round pick, but they have potentially their franchise cornerstone player of the future. One of the few times that the Jags have a guy that is legit and wants to play in Jacksonville. I mean, you saw this, man. He was emoting and dancing and boogieing all over the freaking sideline. He was excited to be in Jacksonville. What is next for the Jags? Is this enough, or is this the right step in the right direction for them to finally come out of the AFC South? Jace, I know you're a Colts fan. What are you feeling about this move?
I think it's a step in the right direction. I mean, the Jaguars, obviously, they paid a lot to go up and get Hunter, but Hunter is a generational guy. So it makes sense, in the long term, to pick that generational guy, a guy who can turn, the franchise around from where it is currently standing. And I still trust Trevor Lawrence enough that he can lead a team to the playoffs. He did it once before. He can do it again. I think they're still a few pieces away, but they're in the right direction now. And
now we're looking at tonight with this team. Jackson, I go to you. Where do you think that this team should go to finish off tonight?
Well, the Jags, they're not in a win-now mode. We said this. They still have a lot of chances where they can make moves. They fill in little holes. I think they need a little help after wide receiver spot. If they can move Travis Hunter to that wide receiver spot, that kind of takes that out. So it depends on their plan with him. But I think they fix some more holes on defense. They can maybe get another lineman. This class is full of linemen. We saw that last night. So maybe they go for another defense or even offensive lineman. Just finding those holes to be prepared for the next 2-3 years and maybe make a run at the South.
Charles, I want to go back to your Falcons point, calling them winners. They paid a lot to get to that 26th pick or whatever it was. They paid a first-round pick next year to go and get James Pierce Jr. I think they overpaid, and I would consider them kind of in the middle of winners and losers. I mean, they got two great guys in the draft, but they gave up a lot in return for it.
Yeah, and there was definitely been that, they gave up a first-round pick, and I think the biggest thing for me is the Falcons are in a win-now mode, because they have so much talent that is going to leave soon. Pitts is 1 foot out the door. Bijan Robinson, if he does not start winning soon, he's a running back. We know how fluid running back situations are. And Drake London, of course, had a breakout season last year. This team in the worst division in football, with some of the most talented individual players in football, now bringing more players in, they have everything they need to make a legitimate playoff push. And I think that first-round pick is their way of saying, they're going in now. I think that is their way of finally making the move. Raheem Morris is a good coach in there. And I think that this is the Falcons' way of basically declaring themselves towards winning the division.
They're not going to win the division. That's a fact.
So you have them you have the Buccaneers over them?
I have the Buccaneers for sure over the Atlanta Falcons. I don't care. Yes, you got Jalen Walker and you got James Pierce Jr., but those are rookies. Those are not guys who have done this before. So you're basing everything off of the hopeful production of some DNs who, one of them has some off-the-field issues, so maybe he won't even play. Who knows? Maybe we'll get into
without those picks, this team was still borderline at the top of the division. The only reason that they did not win is because they had quarterback issues, but Michael Penix showed himself to be quarterback one. This is a team that beat the Super Bowl champions on national TV, was a few points away from beating the Chiefs on national TV. I mean, this team was legit last year, and I just think that those fixes make them even more to where they are. So I do agree that, yeah, no, this is not the reason they're going to jump up. They've been primed to jump up without this. I think that this is just more icing on the cake, more a little cherry on top to make this team legit, because I do think the Falcons are as close as it gets to being a playoff team next year.
I just still think they gave up too much. And for a first-round pick, I just don't know if it's going to be as good of a season as you'd like. I think the Rams won this trade. The Rams get a first round for the Falcons just to dip out of the first round. I really like the Rams' decision to make that.
Time will tell. I think that the Falcons, like I said, they were my favorite. But now, of course, we got to look at the losers. Draft day losers. Jace, I start with you. Who was your draft day loser?
For me, it was the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know they got a great, D lineman and Derek Harmon, but I just don't like that pick for them. I think they have other holes they should have filled first, namely quarterback, because right now the quarterback is Mason freaking Rudolph, and that's not going to do anything if you want to be a freaking playoff team. So Derek Harmon, to me, was not the right pick for them. They should have gone quarterback, whether it was Dart, whether it was Shadur, or even Milrow for all I care. Just a quarterback that's better than Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, and I like that Steelers. They really didn't get what they want, but I think the Bears really lost this one. They stretched a little too far on a tight end. I think the number 2 tight end, and the number 1 didn't even go till 14. They should have traded back. I don't hate the pick of getting Loveland. I just think waiting a little bit, going back and getting him later in that first round would have suited better for them. I think he fits that offense. I just think it was too early and too much of a reach.
And my pick has to be the New York Giants.
I don't agree with that.
Yes, 3rd overall, you got Abdul Carter. That is incredible. Good for you. He's going to be a great player for you guys, even though you guys already have 3 DNs. But the more the merrier, as some could say, possibly. But when you look at their 25th overall pick, them trading back into the first round for Jackson Dart. Dart, I mean, you're throwing on a dartboard, I guess, and hoping that, well, he does something for you. Charles, you're hating on it, but
no,
it's a 25th.
Not you.
Oh.
I'm hating on Jackson Dart.
Oh, Jackson
I'm
Dart.
on the same boat as him.
No.
I think that the Giants really did fumble this draft. I'm not a fan.
Abdul Carter, a great prospect, no
The best
doubt.
prospect.
And
Second
Travis
best.
Hunter probably number 1 for me, and we traded him away for Mason
Listen.
Graham.
Can I put on this? I love what the Giants did. I'm a complete different area what you guys think. Abdul Carter was the best overall talent to me in the draft, and now they get a quarterback who can sit behind Wilson for a year or two and become that quarterback 1 here in the future.
Here is my biggest problem with the Giants, and I'm going to say it, the Saints were my loser. Womp womp. All right, moving on. Back to the Giants talk. The biggest problem with the Giants was you get a bridge quarterback in Russell Wilson, and you get someone like Jameis Winston so you can take a year off with a great quarterback class coming next year, and then you rush and take a quarterback that isn't even guaranteed to even be that good. Jackson Dart's intangibles, to me, are just not impressive. And to me, I just think it was a desperation move for a team that has already decided to take a year off by having Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson, and then you get a rookie quarterback anyway. I think next year, with how good this rookie class is going to be, they should have waited a year, suck another year. I don't necessarily hate the Abdul Carter because he's the best player available, but where the heck is Thibodeau going to go? Where's Brian Burns or Dexter Lawrence? You're going to have 4 elite rushers, but 3 of them are on the edge. There's only 2 edges. I know. There's only 2 edges, so where's the other one going to go? That, to me, is the biggest problem. It just felt like, ooh, shiny, Abdul Carter. Whenever you could have gotten a massive package for Abdul Carter. That's just where I'm at. Abdul Carter, like I said, my favorite player in the draft, but I just don't like the fit in New York.
And just moving on from that point of Jace's point of, sit a few years and, maybe Jackson Dart can develop. I hate to break it to you, that whole regime over at the Giants will not be there in 2 years. He will get fired because they're not going to be a good football team this year. And the desperate of having to trade up for Jackson Dart of all quarterbacks, they're not going to be there. I'm sorry to break it to you. And then by the time the new regime gets in, they're not going to like Jackson.
They're going to be better than you think they are.
Couch.
They're going to be better than you think they are.
Well, I think
Giants.
they're going to get like 3 wins, so 4 wins.
No, they're going to. I think if we're talking dark horses this year, I like the Giants to be a dark horse. I like Tyrone Tracy. They have Malik Neighbors. They have a decent defense. If Wilson can play anything up to decent, they can be a playoff contender. That's my opinion. That's what I think. Trust me. Take my word for this. The Giants are going to be a possible playoff team.
They play against 6 of the best teams in football.
Trust me.
Trust me.
Trust me.
Wait, what division are they in again?
The NFC East,
The
yes.
NFC East. Okay,
They're better
so
than
the Commanders
yes.
went to the NFC Championship game. The
Correct.
Eagles won the Super Bowl, and the Cowboys.
The Commanders are going to have a down year. I mean,
but-
I think that was an anomaly of a year, so they're going to go down a little bit, the Commanders. And the Cowboys are still the Cowboys. I'm
You
predicting
both
right
are
now.
crazy.
Predicting right now, Giants finish second in that division.
No.
second
No.
in the division.
Giants will not make the playoffs this year. They will have a better year, but
I
I,
just said
think
they would.
they're
I'm
getting
just saying they're going to be better than people think.
6 wins is what I,
I
give the
predict them
Giants.
to be
five.
I think Dart is a
Fourth
great
in the
pickup for
division.
them. It puts them in a beautiful spot for the future. They aren't, again, in a win now. I don't think they're going to be in a spot to get a quarterback in the next draft. I like Dart. I think he fits well in this team. I think it's a beautiful pick. I think Abdul's a great pick. I see Thibodeau or Burns getting traded soon because Burns did not play good last year.
But they paid him a bag. I mean, that's going to really hurt them to lose. And Burns played fine. Brian Burns is an elite edge rusher, and he had maybe a little bit worse of a year than when he was with the Panthers, but his standards are high. And, I mean, now we're looking at a team. I mean, this Giants team is there. They have a few good things, but you said they're not going to be in a position to get a quarterback next year, but then said they're going to get 5 to 6 wins. That's a perfect position to get a quarterback next year. And my biggest question is Jackson Dart now better than the quarterbacks that are going to be there next year? I cannot say with a straight face that Jackson Dart is better than even the top 3 quarterbacks coming in this draft class next year. So, I mean, it is... I get it. We're desperate. We want to win football games, but there is just this really cool concept called sucking another year, and that is what the Giants should have done. Abdul Carter is fine, but they should not have gone Jackson Dart here. No. And I also really do want to see what the heck happens with Thibodeau, who wants to be a Giant, believe it or not, and Brian Burns, who wants to be a Giant, and then you have the best defensive tackle, or at least top 3, in the league in Sexy Dexy at defensive tackle. I mean, what do you do here? You have too much talent on the front line. I never thought I'd say it.
There's the talent I'm talking about. There's talent on this roster.
Oh, boy, they can get a
Deontay Banks at the
quarterback.
corner position is really good, too. I like what they have. I like the pieces they have. They are going to be better than people think.
They were the 3rd overall pick. Being better than last year is not exactly a
Well, you know what I'm
gold
saying.
star.
You don't have to get specific on me.
Well, looking at our football teams, of course, tonight is a pretty big night. And, we're going to have some see where our teams are going to go in the draft tonight. But we'll end up seeing 7 o'clock is the second round of the draft and the third round, day 2. So pretty excited to see where that going. And I ask you, Nate, Browns, what are you looking for the Browns to go?
Well, we have the 33rd pick, which is the first pick in the second round. And then we have the 36th pick, which is the 4th of the second round. Right now, I'm really looking for, Nick Chubb's still a free agent, so we don't really have a running game. And then pass catching wise, we have Jerry Jeudy. So I really want to see an overhaul of offense in these second, third rounds of the football, of the Browns football, because I really just don't think with Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett that we can be explosive enough to go with Mason Graham and Myles Garrett on defense. So offensively, that's where we need to go. The guys I'm looking for, as many of you guys think that we should get a quarterback, I do not think so. I do not like Shedeur Sanders or Milroe enough to take him with the 33rd or 36th pick. I like a Travion Henderson, and I like a Luther Burden to go 33-36 for the Browns.
I like Luther Burden going there too, but I want you to stay away from him because I want Luther Burden to fall to number 10 to the Jets. We need anyone that can catch a football because I'm not really rocking with Alan Lazard and Josh Reynolds as receiver 2 here in New York. I definitely think that's where we're going to go, pass catcher. I think that's just the undisputed pass catcher, or if by any chance Mike Green falls, but we don't really need him. I think pass catching is the best thing we need, tight end or receiver. I think that's where the Jets should go. The O-line is finally built. Praise the Lord, we have an O-line, and Justin Fields will survive this season. Jackson, Saints.
So you hated on the Saints pick, and I'm going
I
to tell
did.
you why you shouldn't hate on the Saints pick. Saints are not in a win now mode. They need to build around something. They're not going to be good this year. That's how it's going to go. We have Chris Olave, and he might not even play. Derek Carr is not going to play, as he just doesn't want to because his shoulder hurts. So I wrote down a few things. We're going to fill pieces this draft. Then we're going to learn how to play football. We're going to suck, and then Mannings are coming back to New Orleans.
No.
That's how the Saints are
can't
going to
have
do
that,
this.
sorry. You
And
can't have
it
the
is going
luxurious
to
things.
be a terrible season to make history.
No, you can't have Arch Manning. Sorry, it just can't happen. I can't see a Manning in New Orleans. Just for my personal sake, I don't want to see a Manning there. But for the Colts, we pick in the 14th pick, the second round again. We have all of our picks this entire draft. We didn't trade any of them away. I want to see them go for a linebacker from the guy from UCLA, or I want to see us go for Xavier Watts out of Notre Dame. A safety, a linebacker, those are our 2 biggest needs. We filled that gap last night at the tight end, getting Tyler Warren. Love that pick. I'm so happy we got him. But if we can get a safety or a linebacker in the second round and third round, I would be more than happy with this draft so far for the Colts.
All right, well, we're going to go talk about some NBA playoffs coming up soon. Your Pacers looking good. My Celtics also looking good when we come right back.
The NBA playoffs are cooking so far. Looking behind me, my Indiana Pacers, they're up 2-0 on Milwaukee right now. They say fear the deer. I ain't fearing anything so far. The Pacers are smoking them.
I didn't like that at all. That was disgusting. That was corny.
I had to.
Corny. But
Pacers getting the win. That's all I know.
Pacer over here happy in the corner. Pacers are winning games, and they do look good. And I think that's the biggest thing that we can say about this Pacers team is, we've all heard the rumbling from last year of the Pacers were only there because of injuries. And whether you think that's true or not, they're here now. Bucks are healthy, and they still got squashed in their last game. And we'll see if it happens again. I am still a firm believer that the Deer will be back tonight. They're playing in Milwaukee, and I do think that it's just – but at the same time, everyone that not named Giannis Antetokounmpo has sucked for the Bucks.
Bobby Portis played a pretty good game, too. He had 30 points.
Okay, sorry. I forget. Bug eyes, I apologize. But looking at everyone, Kuzma has been atrocious.
Oh my
I tried to Photoshop him into a Pacers jersey, but I decided against it. We saw Dame is not having a good series. Now, he's coming back off a long injury.
Yeah.
But I would not be too happy if I'm a Pacers fan yet, because this Bucks team is legit.
No.
They are legit roster-wise, and I do think that they're very close to taking this.
You look back to the season series, it was 3-1 Milwaukee, and that was when Milwaukee was fully healthy. They had all their players all 4 of those games, and they beat us 3-1, and that one win was off a Halliburton miracle shot. So, the Bucks, they can still beat us. That's still 100%. And that's why I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch, because Game 3 tonight, if they win tonight, that changes the momentum immediately into Milwaukee's way. If Milwaukee can win tonight convincingly, then I'll be concerned. Because if they can win Game 3 and 4, they can come back into Indy and steal Game 5 and win 3 in a row with that momentum.
They could definitely do that, I think the Pacers are going to win in 5. That's my personal opinion, is for them to win in 5. And I think the Bucks take this Game 3. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Giannis has been balling out. 35 and 15 is incredible for a superstar, and I think he gets one. There's no way in my mind that Giannis can't win a playoff game when he's performing this well. He hasn't won a playoff game since 2022, guys. That is saying something.
He didn't play last year against the Pacers in the first round. And for me, the Pacers, I'm also going to go with in 5. I think if the Pacers can nab one of these 2 in Milwaukee, they're going to come back to Indiana and win Game 5 and end the series. But the Pacers at home are one of the best teams in the NBA on their home court. And if you watch that Game 1 and Game 2, the home court advantage is one of the best in the NBA.
It's legit. Indy fans are legit. I was there at the tournament game. I got some choice words, so to speak, whenever I went to that game as a Celtics fan. So they're legit. Jackson?
Yeah, I have the same thing. Pacers in 5. I think tonight's the night the Bucks win in Milwaukee, the first game. The Pacers travel to Milwaukee. I don't see it going well. The one thing they have to do if they want to keep up with this series is slow Dame down. They did that well last game. He shot 2 from 8 from 3. And if they can do that the rest of the series, it's all theirs. It's a battle of which offense can win. And right now it's the Pacers.
And when you look at Dame Dalla, he can't play defense. And you saw that in Game 2 that the Pacers just went right at him.
And you know who can play defense?
Going right at what?
Andrew Nembhard is locking down Dame. Andrew Nembhard was a phenomenal pick a few years ago. He was a second-round pick out of Gonzaga. He's hitting big shots. He's playing good defense against Damian Lillard. Nembhard has been the best addition the Pacers could have asked for.
Yeah, I'm going in my series Pacers in 7.
Whoa,
I think that we will see this Bucks team at home perform really well, and I do think they're going to take one in Indy.
So you think it's a series where every team wins all the home games?
I do believe. I think that's where it's at right now. Or them taking one in Indy, and then the Pacers taking one on the road. It's hard for me to imagine this series not going to 7 games, because I do think once the Bucks kind of get that lid off the win column, they will start to look like the Bucks that we know and love. Because this Bucks team is talented. And I do think that a lot of the problems is, Kuzma, he's struggling, but that's not going to stay the whole series. Dame Lillard's coming off of literal blood issues. That's pretty hard to recover from. And if he can find his stride, and Giannis is outplaying everyone in the series. So, if that comes back, if that comes to fruition, I do think that this will go to 7. I still have the Pacers because they look really good, but I just think that the Bucks are going to, they're going to crawl. And I think if they lose tonight, we'll see. But looking on to my favorite series so far, the Rockets versus the Warriors. This one has always been one of my favorites. Me and Nate have argued, and we're not going to argue today, or we'll be here till tomorrow.
We will argue
and
today.
We maybe argue a little bit, but we'll keep it down a little bit. Rockets versus Warriors. This series has been really fun. Jace?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting now because you have the Jimmy injury. I mean, he got hurt in Game 2. He missed most of Game 2 with an injury, and the Rockets won because of that. And he's, I think, doubtful for the Game 3. Is that tonight, right, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so Game 3 tonight, he's doubtful for tonight.
No.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
It is
So,
tomorrow,
yeah.
8:30
Tomorrow?
start
Okay.
for that.
Gotcha. So with Jimmy possibly not playing, that turns the series in favor of Houston. Depending on how good Golden State's crowd is, the home court advantage has been iffy the last few years since they moved arenas to their new one, actually, in San Francisco now. But I still think Houston wins this series now. Initially, I had Golden State, but now with that Jimmy injury, that can cause some problems for the offense and for the defense. And Houston's defense is lights freaking out. They are shutting down Stephen Curry like crazy. So I'm taking the Rockets in 6 right now.
It really all depends on Jimmy. Because if Curry's your only option, you're not winning ball games. And I said it before the season started. Not before the season, before the playoffs started, that I was always Warriors at 6. And it's hard for me to say that now with the Jimmy injury. And it's unfortunate. I've seen people blaming the Rockets. That was a basketball play. Any hooper knows. I mean, that happens. And I think it was, losing Jimmy's really going to hurt this team more than they can even fathom. I think that this will now be Rockets in 6, maybe 7 if Jalen Green decides to put on his Warriors jersey again. Because Jalen Green's had an awful game 1, and it showed. If Jalen Green's not scoring, this team will struggle to get another person scoring 30. Sengun does great, but he's not dropping 30, 40. But if Jalen Green can continue to be consistent, and this defense continues to be the number 2 defense in the league that they were this year, and no Jimmy Butler, Rockets in 6, maybe even 5.
I told you, and I told you the Rockets were going to win the series.
Things changed.
And
They had a
Things
literal
changed.
save from grace. Jimmy
Look what
Butler
happened in
fell
game 1.
10
Look what happened in
even
game
if
1.
Jimmy Butler was still here, I'm still picking the Rockets to win this
Look
series.
what happened in Game 1 with Jimmy healthy. Look
Jimmy
what
Butler
happened.
belt to behind whenever they played.
Literally.
Rockets had a bad offensive game. They're allowed to
They
have
had a
one.
bad offensive game
It's a
every game. That's
It's a
just
7-game series. You have to win 4 games. I'm just throwing it out there. The Rockets defensively is really, really good, and they're going to be stopping the Warriors. And I'm taking Rockets in 5.
I'm still taking the Warriors now. I can see them still winning the series with or without Jimmy Butler. Without Jimmy Butler, they play with harder passion because they'll say that that the Rockets hurt him. I still like this Warriors team more than I like this Rockets team. Even that last game, the Rockets have never played a good offensive game. I mean, 109 points, that was not a good offensive game. And then you're
don't
still
have an offensive
having
guy.
10
That's just a
turnovers in a game, 10 and 16 in their first game, 10 in the second. They cannot keep the ball. And now they're just giving Warriors another chances. Warriors know how to play basketball. They've been here. They've done that. Rockets are too young. I think they're the worst second seed we've ever seen.
Wow. Crazy shout. I like this Rockets team, but I am more Team Warriors if Jimmy plays.
Yeah, I am
but
too.
Jimmy Butler will be the deciding piece in that. We will see. We will have our – actually, we probably won't because it's summer. That's very depressing. But we'll see whenever we get to that point. Nuggets and Clippers. This is another one of those really fun ones. These are 2 teams that kind of fly under the radar with their talent, but whenever they play, they play. Jason?
Those first 2 games were probably the best first 2 games of the series I've seen in a long, long time. That first overtime game, the second game was great as well. Game 3 didn't go quite to plan for Denver. The Clippers that was a blowout. And they spanked Denver last night. It wasn't even close. I'm taking the Clippers in this series. I like what they did last night. Kawhi, Harden, this team is very well built, and I like what they have, especially with Zubac at the 5. He plays so well down in the post. I just don't see Denver winning the series. I mean, they changed the head coach just like 2 weeks ago. It's hard to win a playoff series when you just fired your head coach, and the Clippers are firing right now. The Clippers can go far this year if they get hot, and right now I think they can. Give me the Clippers in 5 in the series.
Yeah, I have the Nuggets in this one. You mentioned the firing of their head coach. When they fired their head coach at the end of the regular season, they went on a run. They went on a streak. They won their last 3 without their new head coach. And then, yes, they've lost the past 2 games to the Clippers. I really do believe this Nuggets team, they have the MVP. They have playoff Jamal Murray. They have Christian Braun, who shows he can play when the lights shine. And they have I don't pass the ball, Michael Porter Jr., who, when he plays good, this team is fantastic. And I see they figured out what they need to do.
You are like the most wrongest person I think I've ever seen in my life.
Wrongest.
I think that was wrong.
You're still picking the Warriors to win, even without Jimmy Butler. That just increases the chances.
What is
for
it,
the
Memphis
Rockets.
next?
And then Memphis come back from 3-0. And in what world do you think the Nuggets have a chance to come back in this series? I mean, the Clippers are the better team. The Nuggets don't have a head coach really at the moment. I mean, they got their intern head coach. and they just have not looked like a good basketball team. They lost by 34 points to the Clippers, so the Clippers are going to win Game 4, and it's going to be 3-1, and they're going to go into Denver, and they're going to win another game, and it's going to be a 5-game, a gentleman's sweep, as many say.
Clippers are legit. I take it in 6. I think Kawhi is finally looking like his past self. Once those lights shine bright, Kawhi is one of the best playoff performers of our generation, and I think he's definitely starting to look more like himself. And Harden, starting to feel the beard again. But as we look at the Knicks-Pistons, the most fun series in the East, actually the only really competitive series in the East, we look at the Knicks and Pistons. It's been fun.
This Knicks-Pistons series is a whole lot of fun. Coming into it, I thought that the Pistons were the worst possible matchup for this New York Knicks basketball team. And it showed in Game 2. The Pistons were able to win that Game 2. And, unfortunately, the Pistons, they lost control of Game 3, but Jalen Brunson's clutch. And there's a reason, Brunson was named Clutch Player of the Year, and the Knicks were able to take Game 3 at Little Caesars Arena. This one's going to be close. I like what both teams have to offer. The Pistons are a tough matchup for New York. I'm taking Knicks in 7.
Knicks in 7. I agree. I take Knicks in 7. I think this is the most even series, but this is also one of the worst matchups for the Knicks to pull. And it is one of those issues where I think the Pistons counter the Knicks so well, but I think the Knicks just have too much talent. Jalen Brunson, he's a dog. Cat's a dog. And every part of me wants to say Pistons win the series because I don't want to go against the Knicks as a Celtics fan. But the Knicks are the better team. They were all my top 5 contenders for a reason. And Knicks in 7, maybe 6 if I'm feeling generous. You better not say Knicks in 5. I will throw something.
You might pick Pistons.
Not in 5, because
Okay.
that's actually not possible since they're down 2-1. I just really like this Pistons team. I like the Pistons in 7 is what I'm looking at. I just really like Cade Cunningham as a player and as a team. And when you look at Cade Cunningham, he's gotten better in every single season that he's been in the Pistons jersey. And I think he's ready to make that jump from just an all-right superstar to a bona fide superstar.
But you think the Pistons, a young team, first time in playoffs in gosh knows how long, can win a Game 7 at Madison Square Garden?
That is a fair argument.
It's fair. And you know what? And I would not be surprised if the Knicks win in 7.
Yeah.
I'm not throwing. I just like the Pistons as a team, all the young talent that they have. And when you look at the Knicks as a team, Jalen Brunson, yes, he had a great regular season. He's been really well in the regular season, but what has he really done in the playoffs? He was injured against the Pacers. Yeah. What has Cat done in the playoffs?
He had a good year last year with the T-Wolves. I think that the Knicks, I like this Knicks team. I don't see them getting past Boston, but I do think that they get past the Pistons here. Like I said, very tight series. The Pistons are legit. Closest thing we've had of the bad boy Pistons in a very long time. Yeah. Looking at this last series, at least the last one we're going to highlight, Lakers, Timberwolves. That's a fun one. And as we look at the Lakers and Timberwolves here, these two teams are really fun. And now we're going to kind of see with the Timberwolves and the Lakers tonight. They play tonight, if I remember correctly.
Yes, they do.
Who is going to kind of take home that advantage in the series that has been, it's been eluding these two teams?
Just like you said, this series has been back and forth. Game 1, we thought the Lakers were awful. Game 2, Lakers came out and showed all of us wrong. I have no idea. I have no idea where this is going to go. You would want to give the edge to the Lakers just because of the experience. Luka's carried a team to the NBA Finals. LeBron James has obviously won many finals. And then Austin Reeves, a guy who's been with LeBron for a while. I would have to say that give the edge to the Lakers just because of that. And I think is on the come up still. He'll have his time, but I really didn't like the trade for the Timberwolves with the Knicks giving up Cat for Julius Randle. And I just don't like that trade. I don't really like the pieces around Ant, like Rudy Gobert, to really go out there and beat the Lakers in 7 games.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think Ant is a fantastic player, but he is the only fantastic player that really steps up on there. He's shooting too many shots. I wouldn't say too many because who else is he going to have to take a shot? But the Lakers have figured out to not let Ant shoot a 3, and if he's not shooting threes, they're not going to win. That's why he led the league in three-pointers made. And this Lakers team has great defensive with a great head coach in J.J. Redick. He knows how to play the game. He knows how to defensively and how to hold up. I have the Lakers in 6.
There's one reason why I'm going to pick the team I'm picking. It's because of one name. That's Rudy Gobert. I'm taking the Lakers in this series. I do not like Rudy Gobert. I was watching Game 2 at home, and this guy was just letting rebounds fall in front of him. This guy could not rebound the basketball for the life of him against the Lakers team who's small. That's concerning. The Lakers are going to dominate the series. I think they win the next 3 games and win in 5.
I was so scared when you said because of one name, Rudy Gobert. I was like,
Yeah,
there's
I was
no
like, where
way
is this going?
this man is taking the Timberwolves in the
No.
series because of Rudy Gobert.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here, and I'm going to go with the Timberwolves in 7. And the reason I'm going with the Timberwolves in 7 is if Julius Randle can play in the paint well, I do believe that this team can end up taking this game because I am not sold on the Lakers being a consistent good team. I mean, yes, Luka and LeBron. I mean, it's hard to beat that duo. But as a team, as a built of a team, I think the Timberwolves are a better built team than the Lakers are. And I think that depending on how McDaniels plays will really be what kind of, because the defense on this Timberwolves team is phenomenal. It's just, can they stop the explosions that Luka can bring? People forget that Ant also carried his team to a game or 2 off of the finals. So, I mean, he can carry too. I do think that the Lakers should take this one, but playing devil's advocate here, I think it's very, very possible the Timberwolves can take this one in 7. I do not want them to be counted out because this team is still legit. So, as you know, we look at it, Celtics up 3-0. 2-0, they play tonight.
Yep.
OKC up 3-0. Cavs up 2-0. Those games will be played tonight except for the Thunder, and we're going to have some fun basketball ahead. Thank you all for coming to Grand Slam Sports, and have a good night.